This is Alan's log. It's the 30th of May in the night time. Earlier in the week I was in Peru, and I went there to see my fiance and to meet her family, and it was a holiday as well. I went there to relax because I work a lot. I work 60 hours a week sometimes more than that as well, sometimes 100 hours in a week, believe it or not. Just because I'm trying to build up a business and do a job, and it's just nice to relax sometimes. But I went there and I saw my girlfriend, my fiance. Yeah, and I was happy. I was 2 weeks late as well, because I told them I'd be 2 weeks before, at the end of April, and I ended up coming like the second week of May, when I would have been leaving if I'd kept to the plan. But then that was out of my control. But I saw some interesting things when I went there, and I learnt some things about Peru as well. And quite a lot of the country is like a desert, really, and it's lots of mountains everywhere. The capital city is Lima. It's considered to be very dangerous. It's as large as London, I believe. About 10 million people live there, and it's got a distinct smell as well. You can smell the rocks as they're baked by the sun, and there's cactuses in some of the avenues, and coconut trees, and palm trees in general. Things you wouldn't see here in this country. And I went there. The flight was like 12 hours, and it was a connecting flight. The connecting flight was an hour on top of that, so you're talking 13 hours, and maybe 15 hours if you count the waiting time in the airport as well. So it's a lot. It was a long time travelling, and then plus I took a bus from there to her city. That's another 10 hours. So it's more than a day of travelling, really. But it was worth it. I got there and I met all the family. They're very nice. They treat me well, and I learned some things about Peru. I learned things about how the potatoes originated there, and they have many species of potatoes, and they have many corn. And I learned things about the Inca people, how they took time to build water channels, and they were dead straight, even though they were carved out of solid blocks of granite and basalt stone. They would travel for miles in a dead straight line, and no one knows how they did that. And just to bring fresh water to their villages from the mountains. And I think about half the people there are like Native Americans. Like they're not like the Hispanic people that came there. They're different. There's distinct groups of people that live there. I think they tend to wear these like straw hats, and they have this look about them like they're almost Filipino, but they're not. Like, you know, the typical Native American look, where you got dark skin, and you got this kind of almost Asian features about you. But yeah, a lot of them are like that. And funny enough, it's really hot there. Even on the tops of mountains, there's cactuses growing there. Like it's like that. It's so hot, and palm trees I saw on the tops of mountains. That's how hot the country is. It's really, really hot. And the sun consistently goes down around 6 o'clock. Like over here, it goes at 3 o'clock in the winter. Yeah. And when I was flying back from Peru, I noticed that something interesting happened. You know, the police actually came to the airport, and they actually stopped the plane from flying. And they ordered a second search of the plane for narcotics, I believe it is. Could be other things, any kind of contraband, I believe. I think they had a particular interest in narcotics, and maybe they had an issue and they wanted to double check. But I was taken off the plane with all the other passengers, and we were kept in a separate terminal, in a separate gate, waiting gate, on ground level, and we just waited there. And then the KLM airline, they gave us some snacks and things, and we were there for like 4.5 hours. So I missed my when I eventually got back on the plane and we flew back. I missed my connecting flight by 3 hours or so, and so it was the last flight to London as well, because it was quite late at the time. It was like 8 o'clock, past 8 o'clock when I got there, and the last flight, I just missed that. They were going to book me into another flight at 8, and I missed that flight. I think it was 8:30, and by the time I got out through the security, I was already it was too late for the flights. I had to be rebooked to another flight in the morning, at 6 in the morning, or 7 in the morning, but it boarded at 6. And they put me up in a hotel, and it was quite a nice hotel. The airline paid for it as well, which is quite good. And yeah, it was surreal. It was quite. It's the first for me. I've never been put in a hotel from an airline for missing a connecting flight because of a flight delay. So there's lots of firsts actually that I had this holiday. Like, it's the first time I saw the Pacific Ocean. First time I saw my future family-in-law, and anyway, back in the hotel, it had like a Sky service, I believe it was, like a cable TV, digital hit TV, and I watched lots of channels. Some of them were English. The news ones were in English, thankfully, so I was able to watch some news. And they gave me a lunchbox with sandwiches and fruits and a drink and a bowl of salad with a plastic bowl with a spoon and serviettes, and I think a little bag of biscuits, and that filled me up actually. And then in the morning I had a breakfast buffet just before the shuttle bus to the airport. It took about just under 10 minutes to get there, and then I took my connecting flight back to UK, and I noticed that when I was in Schiphol Airport, it's very different to Heathrow. Like, there's no terminal; it's just one departure building with halls in it, and then it just branches out like a tree, where you got all the different gates. Like gate A, and then 1 to 50 or whatever it is. So you go A1, A2, like that. So it branches out like a tree. I think that's a good idea, because like if you got to look what terminal you're in, that's an extra thing to worry about. It's an extra thing to get confused, to make some people go to the wrong terminal, so more people miss their flights. And also, I noticed when I looked it up on, when I go to places, I always look them up on Wikipedia. I think it has like 6 runways on it, and Heathrow only has 2 runways. And to me, that means it's more fuel efficient. It's better for the environment, because if you're a lot of people think otherwise, but I disagree, because if you're taxiing into a runway and you're in a queue and you're waiting in the queue to take off from a runway, then your engines have to stay on the plane, and that's burning fuel. So imagine all those planes. If every single plane leaving an airport has to leave its engine on before it takes off for an extra half an hour, that's a lot of fuel. Because there could be hundreds of planes taking off at an airport, or even thousands. And also, when the planes come to land, they're not held in a holding pattern. They're not flying in a circle or anything. They just land. They land straight away. So that saves fuel as well. So it makes sense to me. I think it's better to have more runways. So I don't understand why the protesters are angry about us building a 3rd runway at Heathrow, when it would actually cause less fuel. It's like when they're protesting about the motorways. The motorways helps us to drive in 5th gear between cities. Well, anyway, that's all I have to say today, so until next time, goodbye. Please check out my book, Unanswered Questions of Alan John Booth on Kindle. It's a debating framework and it has many questions and many topics covered inside it.